All right, what's up, YouTube? My name is Dion. I'm a software engineer. I've been a software engineer for about 6 months now, and I can't say I'm fully qualified to tell you guys tips on how to be a software engineer, but I feel that some of these tips has to be put out there for you because these are tips that I wish I had. No, I did have them. It's just that these are tips that I wish I had used when I was starting off as a software developer or a software engineer. Whether or not you're in the beginning or middle phase of your software engineering career, I believe these tips can actually help you further your knowledge and help you become that better software developer. So these tips aren't specific to web development because I am a web developer, but these tips can be used for generally all software engineers. So if these tips can be of some value to you, then pretty much my job is done. Anyways, let's get started. So before I give you guys my first tip, I made a web development roadmap for anyone who is getting started with web development. Essentially, if you're a beginner in web development, or maybe you're even further down in your web development career, maybe this guide can be of some use to you. So this roadmap I'm giving you is just a example guide or a sample guide of becoming a web developer. And so you'll be learning some front-end tools and technologies, you'll be learning some back-end tools and technologies, and as well as a database. So a lot of these things have to be done by yourself, but like I said, I've broken it down so you know what it is, why it's important, and how much you need to know of it. I definitely recommend checking it out. I put some time into making it for anyone getting into web development because that is one of my passions. So if you are interested in having a roadmap, maybe that could serve as an example guide for you. Anyways, that leads to my first tip. It's having a plan. Having a plan is the most valuable thing you can have as a software developer because it gets you from point A to point B in your career. So if I wanted to be a web developer, I will plan out some of the things that I would want in my web development journey. For example, maybe I want to do some front end. I will touch on React, Redux, just whatever is involved in front ends. And eventually I'll end up on the back end and then touching with databases. Or maybe I can switch the order so that I'm dealing with back end first because maybe I'm more interested in that. I could deal with databases after that, and then front end will come last. What I'm telling you is that a plan is super valuable from getting from point A to point B in your development career. It's definitely something I wish I had done earlier in my career because I didn't do this until later on. So I would definitely recommend it. The second tip I have for you is asking for help. It's not like I'm telling you that you're afraid to ask for help or don't be afraid to ask for help because I don't think that's a lot of people's problem, even though that may be some of the barriers that are preventing a person from asking for help. For me, it's actually not that. It's asking for help when I need to. So I'm an independent person. I'm assuming a lot of you guys are too. And essentially, my ego takes over and it prevents me from getting a lot of my work done when I should be asking for help on these things. So what I'm saying is that if you ever do get stuck, there are communities out there on Discord, Facebook to help you essentially get unstuck on these things. And of course, if you're egotistic like I am, asking for help may be the bane to your existence, but sometimes we all have to make sacrifices. So third tip I have is to make a lot. So as a software developer, you're not going to always make the most perfect program or software possible. I mean, I wouldn't say that is your goal because there is no perfect software out there. But one of your goals should be becoming a better software developer or as a better software engineer. So making a lot will help you with that. So there was a study done by a ceramics teacher in a book called Art and Fear by David Bales and Ted Orland. So the ceramics teacher split the class into two. One half of the class was responsible for making a single clay pot and they were graded on quality, while the other half of the class was graded purely on the amount of ceramics pot that they made. So the grading system here doesn't really matter, but when grading day came, what the ceramics teacher found out was that the pot with the highest quality was actually found in the pots made by the students that were graded on quantity. What I'm saying here is that you should be making a lot of applications, or you should be making a lot of software, writing a lot of code. It's not going to be easy, but you will get through it. That kind of leads me to my next tip, which is staying strong. Software development, or the journey to becoming a software engineer, is actually one that's long and hard, but it will be worth it. It won't take a few days, it won't take a few weeks. It definitely will be taking you a few months to actually learn these technologies properly. But I do think that it is something that is worth it. And you will reap the benefits, both economically. You will reap the benefits in terms of money and I guess security as well. It's essentially become a passion for me. And I definitely want to teach you guys how to become a software engineer. So if you do want to become a software engineer through web development, definitely check out my roadmap. Like I've said, it's taken me some time to actually write the content for it, and I've curated a lot of resources so that you guys can use. So I would say definitely don't sleep on that roadmap if you're getting into web development. If you found some of the content in this video helpful to you at all, or maybe it provided some value to you, please like the video. If you like the content that I'm providing here as a software engineer to, a future software engineer, or maybe you already are one, then maybe subscribe. Anyways, peace. So one last thing before I go. So I have a 2 monitor setup, but I know some developers prefer to use an ultra wide monitor for the setup. I want to know what your thoughts are on this, and yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Peace.